You're listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Gerald. Here's your host, Jack Myers and Gerald Hoover.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to today's show of the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Gerald. I'm your host, Gerald Hoover, along with my partner in crime right here, Jack Myers. How are you doing, Jack?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful today. So we are excited to do today's episode because we get to talk about basketball season, Jack.
It finally came.
It finally is here, and we're super excited about basketball and starting the season. Even though we had a couple tournaments already, I think it officially kicks off this evening, and that's pretty exciting. So we're just going to go over briefly today all of our teams here on the middle school and varsity sides of the boys and girls teams, go through the coaches and the rosters and just talk a little bit about the season. So we're excited about that. And our sports program here at Shalom is led by Athletic Director Murray Roseman. He does an outstanding job not only with our athletics, but in coaching the middle school boys basketball team here as well. And he's your coach, right, Jack?
Yeah, he is. He's the middle school boys basketball team coach.
Yep, and so he does an outstanding job with you guys, and I'm sure he's looking forward to the season as well. So, but first, before we talk about you guys, we're going to talk about the middle school girls team, and our middle school girls led by Coach Alan Moore, who is in his second year. He's assisted by Patrick Adams, Bart Staley, Micah Gingrich, and Sarah Moore. And so, Jack, how did they end up last year?
They were 15-2, and those two losses did not come in the MDCC, as they were 10-0 in the MDCC, and they lost 5 8th graders last year. Hannah Seitz, Addison Rice, Juliana Myers, Allie Besor, and Madison Miles.
Yeah, so excited for those girls as they move up to the junior varsity and varsity levels, but they will surely be missed at the middle school level, and I'm sure Coach Coach Moore will miss them, but he's pretty excited about his staff this year and who he's playing and leading on the court this year. And Jack, tell us who he has on his roster.
It's 8th graders is Lexi Breckbill, Lucy Bird, Chloe Gearhart, Sydney Moore, and Quinn Staley. 7th graders, Harper Adams, Olivia Krause, Nora Gingrich, Ava Healy, Claire Moore, and Raleigh Underkoffler. 6th graders, Cassidy Hubers, and Hannah Coons. Yeah,
so a fairly experienced team there with mostly 7th and 8th graders, and then we have the 2 6th graders there, and pretty excited about what they're going to do on the court this year. They were in a tournament a couple weeks ago down in the Camp Hill area, the St. Teresa tournament, and I think they went 1-2 down there, so they got some game action in already. But they're looking forward to starting their season as they travel over to Carroll Christian this afternoon and play them over there and officially kind of kick off their season. So good luck to Coach Moore and his young ladies as they start their basketball season for the 23-24 basketball year. So now on the middle school boys side, we have the team led by Coach Murray Roseman, 25th year coaching at Shalom here, coaching basketball at Shalom. That's all long.
Crazy, yeah.
Quarter of a century. That just sounds old, but he does an outstanding job with the young men, and you can't really talk bad about him, Jack, because you might get reduced playing minutes if you say anything bad about him. So, all right, we'll just leave it at that. But helping Coach Roseman, he's assisted by Troy Ubers and Jason Wenger, and I believe that was the same staff he had intact last year. So it's nice when you see continuity there with your coaching staff, and they're back together this year. And what did they accomplish last year, Jack? What did you accomplish last year?
17-3, and we were 11-1 in the MBCC, and we defeated Grace Academy in the championship game, 43-13, and we lost height. We lost a lot of height. Christian Henry, Jesse Jetner-Ryan, and Caleb Kaufman. So losing Jesse lost a lot of height for us. Yeah,
Jesse did an outstanding job in the middle last year, getting a ton of rebounds, and that was huge on both the offensive and defensive end of the floor. So, and kind of like the girls who played at the St. Teresa tournament, you guys went down there as well a couple weeks ago. And how did you do down there, Jack?
Well, we went 2-1, and we started the first 2 games off very strong. And the last game, we faced Height and the St. Teresa team, and we hung in for 3 quarters. And the last quarter, we kind of fell apart with their getting a lot of rebound.
Mm-hmm. It was that. Did I hear that that team press a lot too? Full court press.
Well, they did like a zone press, so
Mm-hmm.
we weren't used to a zone press.
Okay.
Or like this, they did like a unique, like kind of like a 1-3-1 full
Gotcha.
court, or like a 3-2 full court press, and it caught us off guard.
Yeah.
And we weren't able to break it a lot.
But the nice thing about that is now you've seen it, and I'm sure you probably worked on it some in practice. And so if you see it again, you'll be much more experienced with it.
Yeah.
So that's why you play those games. So looking at the roster for the middle school boys team this year, who do we have on the roster, Jack?
We 8th graders, we have Brody Hauser, Waylon Hubers, Isaac Mummer, Corbin Wenger, and Trey Wenger. 7th graders, Jacob Adams, Eli Moore, Jack Myers, Zhang Wenger. And 6th graders, Becca Martin and Ben Myers.
Yeah, kind of similar to the middle school girls roster, where you're just only 2 6th graders, and then the rest are 7th and 8th graders. And just looking over that roster, Jack, there's a lot of Wengers on that team.
Yeah,
on that
a lot
team,
of Wengers, like four.
Four some Wengers.
4 Wengers.
And a coach Wenger, and yeah, so that's exciting. And I see 2 Myers on there. So tell me about that, Jack.
Oh yeah, my brother Ben, he's in 6th grade.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's cool for you that you get to play with your brother.
There's one more 6th grader, Van Wenger.
Oh,
Van Wenger.
Did we miss Van?
Yeah, we missed Van. Van's a 6th grader.
My apologies, Van. So that's another Wenger that we have on the team. So that's pretty exciting. And as we talked, you guys kick off your season here this evening as you guys are at home. The girls are away, but you guys are at home versus Carroll Christian. So 4 o'clock today, it's going to go down, isn't it?
Yep, it's
on the hardwood.
Friday night.
Friday night lights here at Shalom Christian Academy. So it's pretty exciting as the basketball season begins here. And you're listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Juro, and we're here today talking about the upcoming basketball season here at Shalom Christian Academy. Just finished up the middle school teams. Now we're going to focus on the varsity teams. And so on the girls' side, we have head coach Doug Lehman in his 2nd year as the varsity girls coach after moving up from the middle school girls position last year. He's assisted by Brad Moore and Nicole Diller. And if you recognize that name, Nicole Diller, we talked about her in the fall as she was our cross-country coach and did an outstanding job with our runners on our cross-country team this fall. So she's a great addition to the coaching staff here for the varsity girls program. And how did the varsity girls do last year, Jack?
They went 19-2 and 12-0 in the MBCC, but they lost to Broadfording. Oh no, Broadfording won the whole thing, but they lost get the 3rd place, the consolation game. So
yeah.
Not what they wanted, but they still got the 3rd seed.
Yeah, still strong, good season last year. They did end up losing to the eventual champion Broadfording Lady Lions in the semifinal of the MDCC tournament last year, and then ended up winning in the consolation game. So unique thing is there was no seniors on the team last year for the varsity girls side. So pretty much everybody back off of last year's team, plus the addition of a couple 9th graders. And so let's go down over the roster, Jack. Who do we have on the varsity girls team?
Seniors this year, there's a lot. J.C. Keller, Chloe Martin, Madison Moretti, Adria Ream, and Joanna Ream. There's no 11th graders.
Okay.
And there's 4 10th graders, Addison Adams, Smile Lehman, Emily Reebok, and Caitlin Thomas. And there's 3 9th graders, Allison Visor, Juliana Myers, and Hannah Seitz.
Yeah, so an outstanding squad there on the varsity girls side. And I think they do have a JV team this year. And I think basically that roster we let off, a lot of those girls maybe will play JV as well. We don't have a specific separate JV girls team, but a lot of those younger girls will play in those JV contests, and we're excited to have that this year. We haven't had many, hardly any at all, JV girls games in the past couple of years. So excited for that this year. Excited that the girls get to play some extra games. Some of those who don't get as much varsity time, able to see some court time in those JV games, which is very valuable and help them in their basketball skills. So they played in a Covenant Life tip-off tournament a couple weeks ago. I know they won that, so they were champions of that tournament. I think the Friday night, it was a very high-scoring game. I think they got into the 60s on the scoreboard, which is outstanding, especially for your first game of the year where you're not really in sync yet, and then won in overtime in the championship game. So an exciting championship game for them at that Covenant Life tournament with Maya Lehman, I think, hitting the game-winning shot late in that game.
Wow.
So good for her. Congratulations, Maya, and as well as the rest of the girls. And good luck this season as you guys kick off your kind of regular season here this evening, again, down at Carroll Christian. Down in Westminster, Maryland. The varsity girls will be playing there tonight. So now on the boys' side, we'll go over the JV boys. We'll start with them. They're led by head coach Matt Wenger. And who's on the roster for our JV boys, Jack?
The 11th graders, Noah Durstein, Andrew McKeever, Isaac Nesmith, and Jalen Tross. 10th graders, Matthew Moretti and Stephen Fitzpatrick. And there's 4 9th graders, Christian Henry, Jesse Jetner-Ryan, Isaiah Stauffer, and Trey Layton.
Yeah, so it looks like a strong, solid JV team there that Matt has the opportunity to coach this year, and so we're looking forward to seeing them. Their first game is this evening here at home after your game tonight, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
The JV boys will take the floor against Carroll Christian. So just a little bit about Matt Wenger. He's been on that coaching staff for a long time. Has assisted Danley Shank, the varsity coach, for a number of years, has led the JV program for a number of years. Former player. I've been here long enough to see him as a player here, and he was an outstanding player at our varsity program several years ago and actually played under Coach Shank. As Coach Shank has been, I think this might be his 13th or 14th year. So
I think it's 14th because last year I remember saying it was his 13th.
His 13th,
so
yep, the
14th year.
14th year by Coach Shank. And so Matt does an outstanding job with his boys there, and so we look forward to seeing them play tonight. So our fourth and final team now that we're going to talk about, I guess fifth and final team, is the varsity boys team. And again, we talked about Danley Shank in his 14th year leading the varsity boys program here, and he does an outstanding job with that. And he's assisted by Matt Wenger and Edwin Martin. And how did our varsity boys team do last year, Jack?
We went 15-10 and 9-3 in the MDCC, but we lost to a great team, Heritage, in the MDCC championship game last season.
Yeah, it was a battle down there, Martinsburg, West Virginia. Exciting game. Back-to-back years where Shalom and Heritage met in the championship game, and unfortunately Shalom came up on the short end of the stick last year, but it was still an exciting game. And second place finish in a tough division is still pretty good, and so I'm sure our players are motivated to do one game better this year, probably. So they graduated Connor Roseman and Bryce Martin from last year's team, but then who do we have on the roster for this year?
Trenton Coons, Lance Wenger are the seniors. The 11th graders, Noah Durstein, Brady Emge, Ethan Hubers, Noah Lehman, Kason Martin, Isaac Nesbitt, and Jalen Tross, and 2 10th graders, Andrew Schmidt and Drake Wenger. But Trenton is out for the season with an ACL tear, so we're going to miss seeing TKO.
That's right,
Yeah.
TKO on the floor. He was a big-time three-point shooter for the Flames last year. Unfortunately, in the Covenant Life tournament a couple weeks ago, tore his ACL and is out for the season. We hate to see that, especially for a senior. It's not a good way to go out. But our prayers are with you, Trenton. I know he's going to go for surgery here soon, and hopefully he can get on the road to recovery. And unfortunately, his playing career is over at Shalom, but hopefully he'll be able to continue maybe either in church league or something else down the road. But it's a tough loss for the Flames, overcoming a loss to one of their seniors and floor leaders on this team. So I think they were, like I said, in the Covenant Life tournament a couple of weeks ago, but they kick off their regular season here at home this evening.
At 6:45.
6:45, you got it down. You'll hear Jack and I on the call, so tune in for that game. We're looking forward to seeing the varsity boys on the floor here this evening, and as well as for all the sports teams, the basketball teams this year. We hope and wish them well this season, and we look forward to some exciting basketball. And you can catch all of our home games on the live stream. You just go to Shalom Streaming on the YouTube channel, and you'll find us there. We have all of our games, especially our home games, streamed, and a few away games, depending on how much help we have. But we like to get those games on so they can be watched and reviewed, even by players later on. I know they go back and watch the games too. So that's a wrap, Jack. What do you think? Any final thoughts?
It's crazy how long Shalom Streaming's been going. for 5 years, 635 videos, and we have 794 subscribers.
Yeah,
so
that's
long time.
We do have a lot of videos up there, and it's fun to go back and watch them. I do that every once in a while, go back and watch old games, and you kind of forget who all's been playing throughout the years. But
Yeah.
it's a good way to go back, and it's easy to find, and we look forward to many more games on Shalom streaming. So that's a wrap for today's show. We just introduced to you the basketball teams for this year, and wish them well as they start this evening here at against Carroll Christian tonight. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for helping me out, Jack.
Yep.
Now you got to go to
Glad
class,
to be
right?
on, late.
Mrs. Hoover down there, it's for early. No, you got geography with her.
Yep.
7th grade geography.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we better get you back to class. So, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. And we hope to be back on here soon and just give you a preview of what's been happening in the Shalom basketball. Thanks again and have a good day.
Thanks for listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast. If you enjoyed today's content, please hit the subscribe button. That will notify you of future content.